Hey, everybody, it's Julie. Another episode of the Grow Your Occupancy podcast is coming up. Joshua Bentley, he's the Senior Vice President, Regional Vice President of the Aspenwood Company. What a great guy. Met him for the first time at Argentum this year, but I've known him because his company engages ours for the remote sales specialist quite often. A great result, and it might sound self-serving, but our remote sales specialists make such massive impact at the companies that engage, the outcomes are just so incredible. I'm so incredibly passionate about these results, and Joshua is as well. And I said, would you come on the show and just talk a little bit about your experience? And we were talking, and he said, I was really skeptical about this because the culture on the Aspenwood, they have their communities are very high end. The culture is they protect the culture. I was just at an Aspenwood Company last Monday. It's absolutely gorgeous, in East Charlotte. And so we were understandably so, like, strangers in our database, what's going on? So sit back, don't relax if you're driving. If you're hesitant about it, like, really, is it really worth the investment? I'm so passionate. My name's on the line, reputation's on the line. I'm just, and it's really the incredible talent. The only thing greater than their talent is the size of their heart and how kind and great they are. So the Grow Sales Specialist, let's hear from Joshua Bentley, the Aspenwood Company. Thanks again for listening.
This episode of the Grow Your Occupancy podcast is sponsored by Yardi. The Yardi Senior Living Suite combines resident care, marketing, sales, finance, business intelligence, pharmacy, and operations, all on a Cloud Forbes 100 ranked, cloud-hosted HIPAA and SOX compliant software platform. The suite of products is single stack, uniting on a fully integrated platform. It offers intuitive functionality that helps provide the best care and improved health outcomes across your communities.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Grow Your Occupancy podcast. I'm Julie Podewitz, CEO and founder, and today I welcome Joshua Bentley to the show. Hi, Joshua.
Hi, Julie.
It's so good to have you on the show. Joshua is the Senior Regional Vice President of Sales and Marketing at the Aspenwood Company. So again, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. We got to meet face-to-face at Argentum this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in
That's amazing.
Yeah, Tampa, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you're not based in Tampa.
We're not. We're primarily a Houston-based organization.
Yeah, you're in Houston. You live where?
I actually live in Central Florida. However, I support our communities in Dallas, Austin, Houston, the Spring Market, a little bit of everywhere.
And as a regional, I'm very passionate about the regional role in senior living and sales. I believe the regional role, the regional VPs, the regional directors is such a pivotal role, period. I wrote a book about it. But you travel a lot, I'm guessing.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So you can kind of live almost anywhere, right? Mm-hmm. But your company is based in Texas.
We are.
Tell us a little bit about the Aspenwood Company.
Sure. So we're a local regional provider of senior housing. We have mid-luxury and luxury communities within the portfolio, 20 total locations. Primary base is in Texas. Our founder is from Texas, Dallas originally, but has lived most of his life in Houston. And we've grown really strategically, and that's the plan. Our president, Heather Tussing, has a very strategic mind, and we're looking for the right opportunities as that local provider. Not trying to be the biggest, just trying to be the best. And we do have some other outlier communities, two in Arkansas that I support, and then two others in North Carolina, as well as in Tennessee. So a nice footprint here, kind of in the South, Southeast, but just overall independent living, assisted living, and memory care communities across the board.
Coincidentally, I was in Charlotte Monday and I was at one of your communities. I was at the village.
Yes,
Yeah, the village. I mean,
beautiful community.
oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Absolutely stunning community. It was absolutely stunning. So kudos. And when I walked in to sign, register, sign the guest book and everything, I heard Julie Podewitz and almost felt like a celebrity. I knew your executive director
Oh,
from,
wow.
yes, from years
Small
ago,
world.
Stacy. I know it's a small world. So uh, all right. So when we had known each other
Mhm.
because we worked together. We met at Argentum, but we felt like we knew each other, right? Because we worked together because the Aspenwood Company, you specifically engage our remote sales specialist
Mhm.
in some of your assets. And I wanted to get you on the show because like I said, you use remote sales specialists and have done for quite some time to great success. And when we started talking, you said that when it was first brought to you, the idea of doing this, you had never heard of us and you never really heard of the idea of doing this. So what did you bring us back to that time? Like, what did you think of maybe the whole idea of it?
And honestly, Julie, that's so correct. When I first learned of the concept of virtual sales support, or just even an outside organization kind of coming into our turf and helping us, I was pretty uncertain. In my mind, there are a lot of technologies that are coming out and available to us that are going to change the way that this industry really operates. And I think that in due time, those are going to be helpful for us. But there are some of those that are out there that are way too robotic, that are not really capturing the essence of the human touch that we desperately need to serve a vulnerable population that we serve in this industry. So that skepticism was kind of alongside of that, where it just wasn't sure that this was going to be the right fit for our teams, to get their buy-in, but also for myself, thinking through it as a salesperson or as a regional leader, how can we make this work effectively to really help us grow the census and the NOI?
So initially you were skeptical.
Mhm.
Yeah, because you thought, oh, is it going to be robotic? Is it going to be, yeah, not the right fit? Is this person going to be skilled enough?
Mhm.
Yeah, and I understand. Or is it, and because you work really hard to build a culture, right? And selling senior living until you've actually done it. I'm sure a lot of people feel this way about their profession, but until you've actually done it, it's really difficult to wrap your arms around how how unique, right? How unique it really is, right? It's
Exactly
not that
right.
you just kind of jump in and say, here's the product, quote unquote, and just jump in. So what did you find after you kind of learned a little bit about us and you worked really closely with a couple of our people, Melinda in particular, but what did you learn?
Yeah, across the board, your team is just incredible. I think the word that comes to mind the most for me is the word specialist. When you think about that concept, that person that can be a plug and play, that person that can truly master the art of a connection, that's really what we find day after day when we partner with the virtual sales support. These are individuals that are tenured, these are seasoned professionals in the industry. They know what it takes, they've done it before. They continuously show that dedication to serving others. And you know what? It's not easy to get someone to that point of saying yes, whether it's a home visit, a tour, coming out to an event, even picking up the phone. So that polite persistence, that communication, that dedication, it's those right touches with the appropriate cadence that matters. And I think what was really surprising to me is it wasn't just, hey, Grow Your Occupancy has a plan. It was, let's learn about you. Let's learn about your company. what your expectations are, so we can show your teams that we're supporting what good looks like, so that when we're removed, it's not just starting from scratch. So whether that's the communication that I value so much with you and your team, or just the simple aspect of we can all figure out a plan because of our experience together to help move someone forward. And essentially, it's added an extra person in our communities, whether or not we've had it for an hour a day for 30 days or 3 hours for a period of 4 months. It feels like in any essence of time that it's truly that extra bump that we needed to drive results forward. And we're seeing impressive growth at the Aspenwood Company across our communities. Every month after month, we're hitting a new milestone, a new achievement, things that we never thought we could do. But it's because of tools like this that really give us that extra edge and help us be different in the markets.
That means a lot, and that's important. That's truly what matters, right? It's the outcomes and the collaboration, the partnership, and we certainly don't toss those words out lightly. We got to live those, right? You have to say them, you have to live them. Collaboration, communication, and it is so important to just like you learn about your teams and your teams learn about their prospects.
Mhm.
We want to learn about you, right? Right. So no, that means a lot. Your and uh we are part of the team. And I do understand that it may feel that it may feel intrusive.
Mhm.
And there definitely has to be there is an element of trust that who is this person coming into our database? Like
Yes.
we haven't even met these people. And there's always an element of trust, even when you hire someone new, that they're a
Of
stranger,
course.
you're giving them logins and they're in people's business, really. But they're virtual, and we say remote, we're humans. But you're right. You're right. There is, and we've gone kind of away from that word virtual because someone said there's so much virtual reality now,
Mhm.
just recently, that we're like, okay, we're going to say remote because we are humans, right? So we got because you were at Argentum. You're at the session where they do like literally the
Yes.
virtual reality voice now. Yeah,
And that's scary. I
there
mean,
is a lot coming.
in good ways, and then also in ways that it just makes you wonder, how will a consumer respond? We have our own conception of how that feels when we're listening to that and being presented to, but ultimately it's about the person that's inquiring and needing our help, and how do they feel, and is trust really built in those capacities?
I I don't know. It's a big question mark.
Mhm.
It is a big question mark. That is another podcast, definitely. I've got a question for you about the community sales team members.
Sure.
And I know you can't speak for everybody, but by and large, I think by and large it's been positive, but what do you do has there ever been a time when there's been skepticism, or
Sure.
real, like no way, and what do you do in situations like that?
Yeah. I think oftentimes it's ego when you look at, someone else coming in and helping.
Mhm.
We are a very supportive organization, and we're looking for any tool to help someone. So that isn't to diminish someone's ability, that's to really uplift them and support them and grow them. So how do we find those little tools? And I think I've said the word tool a few times because I really look at it as that. It's not a replacement, it's an extra thing that does support us in so many ways. And I think what we've determined in this industry, and especially as we go through these next few years with how many people are coming in and needing senior support, there are just so many touches that are required from a sales team to get someone to commit, to get someone to even pick up the phone. So when you think about the leads that come in, the tasks that have to go alongside of those, the next steps to get someone to that place of saying yes, it's got to be with a team that can handle that quantity. And we are very stringently not a volume and velocity organization. We are by and far all about the relationships and the quality that we can bring to the table to our families that we support. But there's still, at the end of the day, rooted in all of this, a number that goes alongside of it. So a group like this, your support that you've provided does amplify that experience. And so our prospects don't feel that wave of someone's out on PTO, someone's sick, someone's not able to answer the phone because they're on 3 other tours that day. There has to be a way to still manage that. And again, this tool does allow that.
Where can you give an example of when you do reach out to grow your occupancy? I mean, like for example, maybe an obvious one is when you have an open position,
Sure.
right? What's another example?
Yeah, I think to your point, certainly when an open position is there, in other cases, when we have an unmanageable database, maybe one that we inherited through an acquisition, possibly one where the team doesn't have the time to work all of the leads appropriately. It's also somewhat of what I shared earlier. When you think about showing someone what good looks like, that is really a good tone setter. When you have someone that understands our Aspenwood expectations, can then do that. And then it's reinforced not just by my support when I'm on site and coaching and counseling our teams, but it's also through those day-to-day intricate tasks that need to happen. Seeing a good email, hearing a good recorded phone call that's come from it. And maybe even it's at times just strategizing with another person that's outside of the bubble, someone that can see something differently. And I've known that to be the case for many of your team members that say, you know what, we're just not making headway. Maybe you should try this one instead. And that's a great way for us to collaborate and find those hidden little nuggets that exist because our prospects reached out for a reason. And it's up to us to explore those reasons why and have stringently pointed questions that help us get to that answer.
Wow. So to have, but that's really, I would say generous, of a company to truly provide opportunities, right, for collaboration. An example, being in sales, being a sales director it can get lonely. It really can. And yes, we're talking with people. Yes, we're with prospects. Yes, but you can feel siloed. We're like, you stay in your lane, close your door, make the calls. And then we're sort of looking out the window. We don't even have a window half the time, right? And maybe we hear, everyone else is out there, right? And there may be days when we get a whole lot of voicemail or, we don't have, and think about that. Or we don't, and there's someone else out there, or there's another voice to your point. Like you just said that is a really good point. And there's another voice or, I've heard it so many times, Joshua, that from people like yourself or, VPs of sales, where they'll tell me, they'll say, you told them exactly what I've been saying, but because it's you or because it's a different person, from the outside, right? And that's I think very common, right? It's really common. So that makes sense. And it also, it's statistically true that our prospects require more. And the job is also bigger than it has ever been, right? So if you've been in this position, for those of you that have been sales counselors or directors for more than X years ago, it's always been difficult. But years ago, maybe one person, I remember the rule of thumb for rental used to be 1 per 100 units. And again, maybe it was 1 per 80. Well, now, if you think about it, that seems ridiculous. I mean, the time and to do inside and outside sales,
That's exactly right.
it's ridiculous. And so I really do believe that if almost every community could have 2 hours a day of remote sales specialist, not, not a call center, but real remote, we would we would be so much farther along, I
We would.
think, I really do. And
We
it
would.
seems like a simple fix, and it
Mhm.
sounds self-serving, but because it focuses, in my opinion, it focuses where we should focus, which is on the customer and our prospects. Because then it gives your teams and you, I mean, you've got, I don't know, how many teams do you work with? How many are you?
13 for myself.
13. Yeah. And that's not uncommon
Sure.
with, right?
That's
And I mean,
exactly right.
that's a lot. There's a lot, you're juggling a lot. Let me just, I could talk to you all day. What, as a regional vice president, oh, this is a big question. I'm going to ask you, what advice would you give to other regionals out there, other sales leaders, if they
Yeah.
could, yeah, sales leaders listening. I know you've had a lot of success. I know you have challenges too.
Sure.
Yeah. What advice?
It's somewhat advice, but also a challenge. And I think most salespeople like challenges, so I'll put it out there. Your next move in is in your database. And if your team doesn't feel that, if your team doesn't understand that, and they simply look for those low-hanging fruit, you're going to have mediocrity. And I've always embodied the concept that I will not settle for it. I will not settle for that mediocrity. And I will ensure that our teams understand that a strategic path forward is one that really looks at the person as a whole rather than just what is being presented to you when they first call in. And I think that we have to get past that point in the industry of truly needs matching in the first 2 minutes of a phone call and getting someone in for a tour, because that's what we've always done. There's so much more that goes into a decision. There's so much more that goes into a prospect even deciding to pick up the phone for the first time or go on your website, that we have to respect and acknowledge and validate them. And if we can't teach our teams in a regional capacity that concept or help them see through the reason why, then we're not going to have the immense success that we should. And equally, success is not just, NOI being improved. Success is helping another person, because that's what this industry truly is about. And we have to really believe in that concept of, I can get more leads, but if you're not working the right ones that you have today, whether that be your team, yourself, or through your supportive tools like Grow Your Occupancy, then we're not going to truly have a good funnel. We're not going to have engagement across the board, and we're going to have lower lengths of stay. We've seen that with the support that we have, our process for sales, we are keeping people in our communities longer than we ever have. And that's a testament to getting someone to that point of being ready. And that's investing time in each person, not just grabbing everything that comes to your plate because you think you need more.
It's great advice. Real quick, so your next move in is in your database, not the call today, because it's not about rushing. It's not about, certainly someone who needs to move in today, of course, you're going to help them. But how long approximately would you say, I mean, how long are you nurturing a prospect?
Sure.
You would say.
I would say at a minimum 90 days.
Okay. And getting back to what we said, it takes effort, right?
Mm-hmm.
It takes time on the front end, right?
That's
It takes time on the phone. It takes time to plan the visits. It takes time to customize.
Mm-hmm.
It takes time during the visits. It takes time for nurturing, right? And on average, I'm guessing your prospects aren't just a one and done. They're not just coming to visit once and then that's it. They're revisiting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they're
multiple
coming
phone
back
calls, multiple home
multiple
visits,
times.
tours,
Tours, once,
multiple family
twice,
members.
multiple family members,
Mhm.
right? This is, don't need to draw it out. It's
Mhm.
not, but right. You got to multiple steps. Yeah, there's a lot of emotional investment, time investment, a lot of commitment. So your advice to regionals is to invest in their sales directors, to reinforce and the training and the coaching and reinforce this
Mhm.
to
Most
that
definitely.
how important it is.
And then
Yeah.
equally, when you look at, as you mentioned earlier, there's not just good things that happen in this role, there's also challenges. And, the biggest thing that I find to be a challenge is individuals who feel or do not feel the need to document their efforts. And I'm a firm believer in selling in a team environment. That's that interchangeability. If you think about the next person picking up the phone or following up or trying to push an objective, they shouldn't have to skip a beat. They should be able to pick up and go. And what we've seen across the board from our communities that actively do that compared to those that do not, they have 35% average increases in their conversions. So
Mhm.
you look at a Grow Your Occupancy, virtual sales support, a specialist, a new team member, me as a regional capacity, all of these individuals can help with that strategic tone if the things are there. And so it's so important as we navigate our days and help our teams that we reinforce that too.
And it can be done very successfully. Document, put the notes in, tell the story.
That's right.
Just tell the story. Great advice. Great advice. Joshua Bentley, the Aspenwood Company. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day and for sharing your expertise and your experience, certainly, and giving a shout out to Grow Your Occupancy and the sales specialist on our team. And it really is. It's all about the talent, and the only thing greater than their talent really is their heart
Mhm.
and how kind they are, Melinda, and everyone on the team. So thank you again so much, and I hope to see you soon.
Yes. Thank you so much, Julie. Truly
Thank
an honor to be a
you.
part of this.
Oh my gosh, the industry needs more Joshuas. We got a lot of great people out there. Thank you all so much for listening to another episode of the Grow Your Occupancy podcast. I so appreciate all of you. Like, share, subscribe so others can learn from experts and great people like Joshua. Until next time, thank you.
This episode of the Grow Your Occupancy podcast is sponsored by Yardi.